Greetings to everyone. Today we're going to talk about the Pythagorean Theorem model, which is a model that helps us understand various lengths. Okay? So the first thing I want you guys to do is make sure you have two different highlighters, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and highlight the legs. And the legs will typically be found connected to the 90-degree angle, okay? So here goes one of my legs right here, and here goes the other one. Okay. All right. And we're going to highlight the hypotenuse with a different color. So the hypotenuse will always be that slanted line. And what I mean by slanted line, it's going to be that slanted line that's opposite of this 90-degree right here. And one of the key things we need to recognize is that the hypotenuse is the longest side. And it's also opposite of the 90-degree angle. Okay? Now, one of the things that a lot of us make the biggest mistake on is understanding if they're asking for the area or if they're asking for the length. Okay? So obviously, if we're talking about the length of this be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that length right there is going to be 4. Okay? This length right here is going to be 3 because I count 1, 2, 3. All right? And I see this length right here is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if they want to know the area of it? So that means I would square that 4. So I do 4 squared. And 4 times 4 gives me 16. And I'm just going to say this is centimeters for my units. What about this one? There are actually 9. So that gives me 9 for the area. Because once again, I'm doing this. I'm doing 3 squared. Okay? And then this one right here, this is a total of 25. So I do 5 squared, which gives me 25 centimeters. So we go back to that. We compute everything together. We do 4 squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared, which is 16 plus 9, which gives me 25. And we see that that makes 25. Both of them are equal. 25 equals 25. All right. So once again, this would be the length right here of 4. And this would be the area. This right here is the length. This is the area. This is the length. This is the area. And the key thing to this is this formula that you're going to use to find the Pythagorean theorem is always on your formula chart. It is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This right here, one of the legs is A, the other leg is B, and that hypotenuse is going to be C. So if you want to look at it in this aspect, you look at it as leg plus leg equals hypotenuse. All right. Now let's go on to the next one. In any right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. So let's go in here and let's highlight our legs. Okay? If you select this right here for your leg, this is one right here. This is another leg. Okay? And then here goes my hypotenuse. Same thing over here. Here goes my legs. Legs. Here goes my hypotenuse. And remember, that hypotenuse must always have the longest side. Okay, so I'm just going to put some numbers on here. I'm going to put 8, 6, and 10. So what I'm trying to do is figure out if this is actually correct. Okay, if this is actually a right triangle. I can see, but my numbers have to verify it. So I'm going to do 8 squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. So if I do that, that's 64 plus 36 equals 100. And when I add those, my legs should equal to that hypotenuse. Is that correct? Yes. And remember, what is that formula for Pythagorean theorem? It is A plus B equals C. So I will write that out as A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now this is a YouTube video that if you want to check out, it's perfectly fine. It's just a little rap about the Pythagorean theorem. Let's go to the next page. Alright, so this right here is asking us to find the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, first thing, always write out the formula. That formula for Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And let's go in here and highlight our legs, okay? So here go my legs right here, okay? And here goes my hypotenuse. So I can know where everything goes. Now, it doesn't matter about switching these up. This could be 5, this could be 12, or this could be 12, this could be 5. You can always mix up the legs, but you cannot mix up the legs with the hypotenuse. If you do that, you're going to come up with the wrong thing. So what would I replace A with? Yes, I will replace it with 5. And what would I replace B with? I replace it with 12. All right. Now, we're trying to find the length of this, okay? So far, this is telling me the area of this right here, the area of this is 25, plus the area of this, which is 144, is equal to C squared. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add these two up. So when I add these two up, I'm going to get 169 equals C squared. Now, I'm going to stop right here for just a moment. And we're going to analyze some things. If they are asking for the area, I will stop right here. This is telling me that the area of this is 169. But if they want to know the side length, I have to do the square root of this. And the reason why we have to do the square root because the inverse of square is square root. Okay? So this is how we'll work it out. If you look on your calculator, you're going to do the square root of this. And when I do the square root of this, this is basically cancels this this 2 out. So now I get C. And the square root of 169 should give me 13. So now, if they want to know the side length, it'll be 13. Okay? So, this is the side length of 13. But if they want to know the area, I would stop right here. The area will be 169. Okay? Alright, let's go to the next part. Example 2. Alright. So, this time you actually got to plot your points on here, okay? So we're going to plot our points. Let's plot 3 and 1. So I start at 0. I go to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then I go up 1. Alright. The next one 0, 5. So I can't go anywhere because of that first number. So I just go up to 5. And then I got 0, 1, which is right here. Now I'm just going to connect my points on here. Alright, now, looking at this, what would be my legs? Obviously, we see this is my leg right here. This is another leg. Alright, this is the hypotenuse right here. Alright, so what would be the formula I would write down for the Pythagorean theorem? Yes, it'll be A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All right. So once I look at that now, I look at my legs and I see, hey, what is that side length? And all I have to do is count these. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 3 squared. So that'll be 3. All right. This other leg is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that's going to be 4. So that's going to be 4 squared. Now, since we're trying to find the hypotenuse, I'm going to leave that blank. I'm going to leave that as c squared because I don't know what that is. So all I have to do is work this out. That'll be 9 plus 16 equals c squared. 9 plus 16 makes 25 equals c squared. Now, remember what I said earlier. If they want to know the area of this, your answer would be 25. But since we want to know the side length, okay, if you want to know the side length, you will have to square root both of these. So I do the square root of this. So c equals 5. So that's my answer right here. And always ask yourself, is my hypotenuse longer than all the other sides? Is that hypotenuse longer? Yes, it is. So I know I'm on the right track. Now, we're going to go to the next slide. And if you want to, you can pause it right here to try out number 3 on your own. Or if you're still uncertain, you want to follow the video, that's perfectly fine. Okay? But if you like to, as I stated earlier, you can pause the video. But I'll keep going for you guys, for those that want to look at some more examples. So this one is a little bit different. This time I got to find the leg. Okay, so here go my legs right here. Okay, and here goes my hypotenuse. All right. So remember, your formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So what would I replace that a with? 9. Do I know what that other leg is? No. So I'm going to keep that the same, just as I did on the last example where I kept the hypotenuse the same. And this time I have the hypotenuse of 15 squared. All right. Now I'm going to solve this. This will be 81 plus, and that's a b. That's not 6. That is b squared plus b squared equals 225. Now, I want to get this b squared on one side by itself. Okay? So what would be the inverse of this? I'll subtract 81 on both sides. Remember, when I think about equations, I think about weights. Here goes my bar equal sign, and here go my weights. So if I take off, let's say this is 20, this is 5, this is 20, this is 5. If I take off 5 over here, I have to take 5 off over here to make that bar equal. Because if it's not equal, that weight will tilt over and hurt you. So I think about it the same way. So now 81 minus 81 cancels out. So that leaves me with b squared equals to 144. So now I look at this and I ask myself, are they asking for the area or are they asking for the side length? They are asking for the length. So that means I need to do the square root. So I'll do the square root of both of these right here. And when I do the square root, I get a side length of 12. So I know that this leg is 12. And obviously I can tell visually this is longer than this one. But it still has to be smaller than a hypotenuse because the hypotenuse is always going to be the longer side. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this example next. Okay? I want to give you something. John and Dan leave from the same point, but John walks 10 miles north and Dan runs 24 miles east. How far apart are they when they stop? So let's find that starting point for both of them. This is where they both start at. So remember, John walks 10 miles north. He goes 10 miles north. And Dan goes 24 miles east. All right. And we know that because of north, west, east, south, and so on. Okay. Now, we're trying to figure out, this is where John is now. John is right here, and then Dan is right here. How will I find out that distance right there? Okay. We're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem again. So, this is how far apart they are. So, let's go in here and label our legs. And here goes our our hypotenuse. So we're going to write out that formula every time. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All right, so I replace A with 10. I replace B with 24. And I don't know what the hypotenuse is yet. Okay, so now I solve this right here. I get 100 plus 576 equals C squared. Add those two up, and I get 676. I'm sorry, let me move this down a little bit. I get 676 equals C squared. Now, they're asking for the length again. Okay? So they're asking for the length. So since they're asking for the length, what I have to do? Square root. So I'm going to square root this. And when I square root it, I get 26. So I know that they are a distance apart of 26 miles. All right. So this is how we do Pythagorean Theorem. All right. Couple of things. Think and discuss. I want you guys to tell which side of the right triangle is always the longest side. This is going to be very important to understanding this. Okay? And explain if 2, 3, and 4 could be lengths of a right triangle. We'll talk about that at a later time, but once again, I want you guys just to think about Pythagorean Theorem. And obviously, which one would be C? If you pick 4, then you know that is correct because it's always the longest side. So I want you guys to try this out. And as you guys do this, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you can replay the video again to remember how to do things. Or if you're confident, you can go to the next thing as far as trying them out on your own. All right. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.